Hello and welcome to Special Stage. We're here in Hethel at the Lotus test track for round 6, the penultimate round of the Paceboard MLR and Whiteline 22b.com Sprint Series. Now this track is seriously quick, but there are a couple of really tight corners where if the drivers get it wrong, they could end up losing an awful lot of time. So let's head out to the track and find out how they got on in the practice runs this morning.
Practice runs got underway in less than ideal conditions. What was promised to be a dry day started out wet, but at least things could only get better.
The wet track may not give an indication of what speeds we could expect, but it did of course give the drivers enough chance to learn the lines through the corners, ready for a full attack when the sun came out.
On to the times then, and it will be Anthony Lidster leading the Class D and overall times in the practice session this morning.
His closest and indeed only rival for that class was Richard Stokes, second in the class now but down the times in 16th place.
Will Griffiths has the advantage in Class C during the practice runs, this class seeming to dominate the top of the results at this stage, with 4 of the top 10 in that class.
The times on the practice run not counting towards a result though, but it would give us a bit of an idea of what to expect in the afternoon's competitive runs.
Mike Laws comes out of practice a couple of seconds back from Griffiths, second of the Class C drivers.
And for Barry Jordan it would be third fastest in that class with 4th place on the overall times, just a further second back from Laws.
With such a fast circuit, time was going to be hard to make up on power alone. It was likely to be those who perfected the braking points that made a real difference here at Hethel.
The S2 class would see Dan Lewis topping the times in practice, and things in that class were very close over these 3 runs, less than a second in it.
George Rigby would be the one in second place in the class. 0.4 of a second the difference between the leading S2 drivers. Close even with the poor conditions.
And rounding out the top of that class, just a fraction of a second further back, was Niall Bradley, lying in 8th place on the overall times 2.
Duncan Cowper would be hoping to reignite the battle between himself and Anthony Lidster, but sadly problems mean that wasn't to be. He leads the guest class in practice, but the car would go no further.
That meant that Vernon Jones, second fastest of the guest class in the morning runs, would be favourite to take the lead in the first of the timed runs after lunch, something that was made even more likely by the fact he had 2 entries in 2 different atoms and was actually second and third fastest in the guest class.
For Graham Jerram, it will be a good start to the day with the leading time in the S3 class. The times were close though, so hopefully he would have something left in reserve for the competitive runs this afternoon.
Just behind him on the overall times was Gary Scott, leading the way in Class B in his Evo 9, but it hadn't been plain sailing. Problems meaning he didn't finish the first of the day's practice runs.
Mike Riddle would be the closest threat to Graham Jerram's S3 class lead. There was only a fraction of a second in it, and now that the track was drying out, it was looking like it could be a very close battle.
And also getting in on that S3 class battle was Stephen Darley, the gap a little bigger but still less than a second between himself and Riddle ahead.
As well as that close battle in the S3 class, we'd also have a fight on our hands in Class A, with Alex Bones coming out on top of that in the practice runs this morning.
Raf Kotowicz would be second fastest over the first 3 runs. There was less than half a second separating the top 3 in the class, so getting the lines right this morning would be important.
And just rounding out the top of the class in the practice runs was Nick Greenwood. We would have to see which one of them would be able to edge out an advantage in the timed runs after lunch.
Stephen Moore doesn't get the start he would have wanted, second fastest in Class B with Gary Scott up ahead in the lead. But as we've said before, the times matter the most once we get to the timed runs.
Darren Meddings takes the early lead in the S1 class. Sadly not a big entry in the class this weekend, but it didn't mean he could back off at all.
Stephen Peel rounds off the top of Class B, not going flat out this morning, just gauging the lines and the car, ready for a push this afternoon.
And joining Darren Medding in the S1 class was Simon North, second in the class for now, just 1 second behind Meddings.
So before we catch up with a few of the drivers, here's a reminder of the results from this morning's practice runs.
Anthony Lidster takes the early lead in the overall and class results, and the battles throughout the results look like they could be some of the closest we've had this season.
So how are things going for you today, Liddy?
Yeah, they're good. It's drying up a bit now, so we're going to change wheels and see how we go this afternoon.
Your times have been getting progressively quicker. You just dropped under the 120 mark.
Yeah, it's drying up, but it's getting too dry for the wet tyres, so we're going to change onto a slick tyre now.
Yeah. Have you been at Hethel before?
Yeah, it's my third time this.
So what kind of time are you hoping to get?
To be honest with you, I'm not certain what time we did last year. We've not gauged it, but it's different every time, really. Depends how much rain there's been on. You know, if circuit's got any rubber on or anything, so yeah, we'll have to see.
It's such a quick track, isn't it? What kind of speeds have you been getting up to this morning?
Well, to be honest, I don't look fast enough.
So Graham, you're doing really well in the S3 class this morning. How's it going?
Okay, yeah. It's a bit slippery, but yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
No problems at all so far.
Track's drying out. How was that final run for you?
We had a little moment there where we just made the back corner, so yeah, tyres are just too cold, so we need to. So hopefully it dries out and we can get full slicks on, and it'll be good. Yeah.
So Alex, it's going really well for you here today.
Yeah, I'm pleased it's drying out, to be perfectly honest. Find it a little bit trickier in the wet. Not having done much seat time in the car still, even though we're sort of 6 rounds deep into the series. But no, it's good. I'm pleased it's drying out. It's still definitely some places I can make up some time. Spent a lot of time on that last lap going sideways, which obviously is not conducive to a quick time. So yeah, I'm pleased so far.
But you're still doing really well in Class A, which is what matters, really.
Yeah, that's all I'm focused on, really. You know, while it's nice to keep an eye on the other cars, the other times and things. Obviously, we've got a great crowd of us. I think there's 9 or 10 runners in A today, so it was a nice close battle, and we're all having a bit of banter and a good time.
Yeah. Well, that's it for the practice runs this morning, with Anthony Lidster setting the fastest time so far. So I'm going to hop into his car in one of the timed runs and see just how fast this track really is.
On to the competitive runs then, and the track had dried out. The sun came out, conditions were ideal for the drivers to push for those fastest times.
There wouldn't be any change in the S1 class in the timed runs. Simon North unable to gain any time on the class lead and ends the day with second in class.
So that means that it's the class win for Darren Meddings, fastest in the practice, and he kept that going into the afternoon to take the victory.
So first I have to say congratulations. Second I have to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
I know, we have the same birthday, don't we? Darren, how's it been today? Good day?
I was a year above her at school. It's been great today. New setup for the car, new seat, which was tricky to start with, but we got there in the end. I couldn't change gear very well because I was too far away from the pedal, but Must be going senile as I'm getting old. So. But no, it was a good day. As long as we won, that's all that matters, isn't it? So no, sun's come out as well.
Yeah, I know. Any tricky moments on some of those bends? They're quite tight, aren't they?
Only down there a little bit. I went almost straight on. Met me Micah. But no, apart from that, no, it's been great. Been great. Good day.
Are we going to see you out at Rockingham?
Absolutely. I'm going to the pub now. Happy
fun.
birthday.
Me
anyway.
too.
God bless.
Now Bradley ends the day with third fastest time in the S2 class, a time good enough to see him rounding out the top 10 overall times as well. I'll do Neil now.
For Dan Lewis, it will be second. Half a second the difference between them and Bradley behind, and it will be a similar gap to the class lead as well.
And for George Rigby, it would be the class win, a move up to the lead in that class with his final run of the day.
So how's your day been today? Clutching a trophy, gone all right?
Yeah, I've had a good day again, yeah.
What was the best lap out for you?
My last lap, I was sitting in third before the last run, so I had to sort of go for it the last lap, but managed to do it.
What was your best time here today?
I think it was a 1:20.0, so not a bad time.
Do you think it helped that it dried up an awful lot?
Yeah, definitely. So I've only got dry tyres, so I needed it to dry up, to be honest.
How was it this morning then with those?
It was okay. Nobody's really pushing too hard in practice in a way. I think we all knew it was going to dry up, so everybody was holding back till it got dry.
In the S3 class, it will be third fastest for Rob Whiteline, almost a second back in that position, but that was good enough for fifth overall on the leaderboard, and the top of the times are certainly close.
Graham Duran sadly moves down the times into second, unable to hold on to the lead of the times in the class, but still managing a fourth place overall time.
And taking the S3 class victory was Andy Hughes. It was a cautious run in practice after some work on the fuel system since the last round, but a push in the afternoon coupled with some new tyres meant that the class win was his, along with second fastest time of the day overall.
So class win for you here today, how's it been?
Yeah, good. Just a bit surprised, to be honest.
Why is that?
Well, it's like the car wasn't running. Only just got back off holiday about 2 days ago, and the car wasn't running. And the last 2 days we've just been trying to sort the problems out with it, and we sorted it out literally last night, 12:30. So I think it was quite lucky, really.
Maybe you were just feeling all refreshed after your holiday.
Yeah. I think it might have been a bit of that. I wish it was back there, to be honest. But yeah.
So what was it about today, do you think, that made you pull it out there?
I don't know really. I just in the morning I just had it on like the low boost setting, and I was just having a run and then pulling the data logs and seeing what was up on the data logs, and they seemed all fine. So I just flicked it up one or two settings and then put the slicks on. And I did a massive improvement with the slicks, so I think it was mainly the tyres really that did it. But yeah, it was good.
Do you think that this kind of track suited for your car?
I don't know what I thought that something like this would be, but I didn't think Teesside would have been, but Teesside was. So I don't know really. It seems to go okay here. Yeah.
Good to see you at Rockingham?
Yeah, I'll be at Rockingham. It's the last one, it's the final, so there'll be a bit good atmosphere there, so it should be good.
See you there.
The Class A battle did start to open up a little in the afternoon runs, but there wouldn't be any change in that third place. Nick Greenwood keeping hold of that to the end of the day.
There would be change in second though. No longer would we see Raf Kotovic in that place as he drops down to fourth. But we see Jamie Hollett jump up the timesheets to take that second position with his fifth run of the day.
But there wouldn't be any change at the top. Alex Bones had a good run all day to take the class win, but it was close, dropping down to second fastest for a while, but claiming back the top spot on his final run of the day.
The last car is on the circuit now. He's reaching the end.
So Alex, a fantastic result for you here today. How's today been?
Yeah, great. Obviously, with it being wet this morning, it's difficult to find some grip, and as it's dried out, obviously people's times come down and down and down. But it's been really good. I've enjoyed it. It's actually, obviously, it's a fast circuit. As I said earlier, my first time here. But there's quite a few technical bits in the chicanes and the tight corners that obviously it's really where you're making up the time. So it's been great all day. It's been a really tight battle between Jamie, Nick and myself at the top, and a few of the other Class A runners as well. So it's fantastic, yeah. Good.
We managed to watch you towards the end of the day, and you looked like you were really risking it and going for it and enjoying yourself.
Oh yeah, I was. I did scare myself once or twice, but that's what happens when you push it a bit, isn't it? And look to shave some time off. So
I think you're getting used to it now, getting used to the car and things, aren't you?
yeah, that's it. I don't get I don't use the car at all between the sprints. So yeah, now that I've done the 6 rounds, it's been really enjoyable, and as you say, getting to know the car a bit better. So
yeah, great. We'll see you at round 7.
Sure will. Yeah. Thank you. Cheers.
Sadly for Gary Scott, the fastest time in Class B wouldn't be his in his competitive runs. He moves down the times to take 3rd in the class.
No change for Stephen Moore as he remains in 2nd place. The lead in the class may have changed, but 2nd was as high as he could manage this time out.
And after settling into the morning in practice, it will be a great afternoon for Stephen Peel, leading the times in Class B and taking the victory with his 3rd run of the day.
So great result for you here today, how's it been?
Good, we've had a few problems throughout the day. As you've probably seen, we've missed a couple of runs, but luckily enough I managed to get a banker in on my first lap, and that's carried us right through to the end. So happy enough with that.
What was it about your first lap, do you think, that just nipped you in the bud?
Well, I knew I had problems with the car, so I just went all out because I thought it might be the only lap I got in for the day. So we're off to drop the car at the garage now to get fixed. Yeah.
Best of luck with that.
Yeah, thanks very much.
It was all change in Class C, with Nathan Wigley appearing in the top of the results in the timed runs. 3rd fastest in the class, but almost 4 seconds off 2nd place.
The only one of the top 3 from practice to still be in the top of the class times was Will Griffiths. Sadly no longer in the lead, but 2nd place was a good finish.
And taking the win in Class C for round 6 would be Paul Allen. His 2nd time run not going to plan, but it got better after that, taking the fastest time on his 4th run of the day.
So you're clutching a trophy once again, you're getting a right collection, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a collection coming on now, but at least at this event there's some good competition, some people pushing me, so that's what I need.
Yeah. Do you think that's why you're clutching that trophy today?
Well, yeah, you've got to have competition, you've got to have somebody to push you on hard, which is, yeah, what we had today, so that's what I needed.
How's the car been today?
Faultless yet again, and yeah, it's just been a reliable car for the last 2 years, and touch wood, not too many issues that I can't fix in an event, which has got to be to make the enjoyment factor carry on.
Are we going to see you out at Rockingham then?
Yeah, you'll definitely see me at Rockingham.
You might get your final trophy.
Well, yeah, final one Creek collection.
Crossed, yeah.
With just the 2 drivers in Class D, it will be 2nd place for Richard Stokes. Unable to match the pace at the top of the class, but the times still good enough to see him halfway up the overall leaderboard.
And that means that it's the win once again for Anthony Lidster. Fastest time for the Class D drivers, and indeed fastest time of the day overall. The battle with Duncan Cowper never happened, but there were plenty of others pushing him this weekend.
God, you don't know what to do with all those prizes, do you? You've got champagne, trophy, overall winner today, Anthony, well done.
Yeah, we've done well today.
Do you think it was maybe me sitting with your car?
Yeah, good luck charm. Yeah. Since it's your birthday.
Yeah, thank you for that. Do you know, I cannot believe how quick you were earlier. I wish I knew what kind of speed you got up to. Have you got any ideas?
You'll have to check his camera. I don't look at speedo. No.
But you've obviously been going extremely fast, and you beat everybody by quite a substantial amount. So how are you feeling about that?
Yeah, we did all right. Duncan obviously, we had a good battle up at Blighton, and we were hoping for a rematch today, but it wasn't to be for him. He had a breakdown, didn't he, morning, so maybe at next round if he's coming, if he gets his car mended.
You've been challenged, Duncan.
Yeah. Called him out.
Yeah. But you must be feeling quite chuffed with yourself.
Yeah, we've had a good day really. Say how bad it was this morning, weather. Yeah, so car's in one piece, that makes a change, so I'm happy.
Well, hopefully you'll get home without maybe losing your keys today.
Yeah, we'll not mention that.
So with round 6 complete, here's a reminder of the overall results.
Anthony Lidster makes it another win in that Evo, and the battles throughout the other classes look to be getting closer as the season goes on. Andy Hughes' win in the class and 2nd overall puts him in a good position going into the final round.
Well, that's it for round 6 of the Paceboard MLR and Whiteline 22b.com Sprint Series, with Anthony Lidster taking that win once again. Next up, we're heading to Rockingham. We'll be there to bring you all the action. We'll see you next time.